welcome to my channel. As promised, I said I would get on here and show you at least 30 different ways to decorate or embellish your Easter journals. And I'm just going to hop right to it and show you my favorite thing that I've done in this journal so far. So usually on the strings of the center of the signatures, I'll put something. Sometimes it could be a button or a flower, or I don't know. I just like to put something on the end of our signature strings instead of just leaving them hanging. Well, I decided to go big or go home this time. I never do flowers this big, but I love how it turned out. So this is an ideals page, and it has these daisies, and in the center of the daisies have the yellow fuzzy. Well, I just so happen to have some punches and dies that I could cut out daisies from. And when I was with Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator, I'm trying to open a container. Anyhow, I had these things that could go for the center of the daisies, and I remembered I had them and just happened to find the perfect color paper to go with this page. And I did one that was smaller and one that was bigger. And like I said, I've never done anything that big on the end of a signature string, but I love how it came out. Give me your thoughts below and tell me what you think. And then I'm going to show you, so this book has 4 different signatures, so I'm going to show you the other center of the signatures. So that's like my new favorite thing, to embellish those, because that was fun. So here's the center of the second signature, and I did bigger flowers there also. Tried to pick up, because there was some yellow flowers over here, and then there was some pink, so I tried to pick up the colors. And these are 2-sided, so that one, and that's how that one came out. Oops, and this is a little scrap from something else in there. Okay, so that's my second signature. Let's go to the third signature. So this had, in the center of this signature, had a pattern, and I have this out on my Ko-Fi as a freebie. It's a scanned copy of a pattern. So I wanted to pick up the pinks and blues in there, so I did the flowers this way, and I don't know if you could tell, this one's embossed with some polka dots, and did that. So I like that one. Okay, let me show you the fourth signature. So instead of leaving those strings just hanging, put something on it and decorate it more. Okay, this I like, because the little girl and the little boy and the kids are Easter egg hunting. So I just happened to do an Easter egg there, and it's right where she's reaching. So I lucked out on that and thought that was a fun little embellishment on the signatures. So those are the 4 different ones I did there. Okay, so that was number 1, embellishing the center of a signature. And my number 2 is pockets in the front and back of journal. Okay, so usually what I do is I fill the pockets with different things. This is a Tim Holtz die cut, and I just filled it like with an egg and little bunny rabbits, and I embossed the die itself. And then I happen to have these peep cards and put that in there, and was trying to pull the colors together. And over here's another little pocket that I made, and I believe this is from KB and Friends, and I believe these 2 tickets are from KB and Friends. So it's just a little pocket that have Easter Day and Spring Fun and another little ticket. So pockets are always fun. All right, and in the back, I did a library card pocket and put a tag in there and did the library card. And you could put on your card like the date of Easter. I think that would be fun. And then I just decorated that pocket with, I believe this is KB and Friends also. Okay, so I have number 3 is to emboss paint chips. So we'll go back to that. And I have an embossed paint chip here where I just happen to have little embossing folders that I was able to do 3 different ones. Not everybody has those, so you can emboss the whole thing one way. They don't have to be embossed 3 different ways. So that's just a little fun thing. Number 4 is use retro or vintage cards in the journal. And this is a retro card. And it's really silly. So it looks like someone's having a picnic, an Easter picnic. And inside the card it says, Happy Easter, wishing you chocolate bunnies. Back in. So that was number 4, and I do have some other vintage cards in here that I'll show you as we go through it too. And then I put number 5 is to put trim and ribbon on sides of pages before you sew them in. So I'll show you the different trims I did. I did a daisy trim here. Here's a trim here. Here's a ribbon. And this could be number 6 is to put little charms or dangles on your ribbons. And so this is an Easter basket with a tulip in its leaf. And let's look at what other trims I have in here. I know there's more. Well, this was paper that had the holes in the side, and so I put some ribbons along there. I know the back has a beautiful trim here. And also, it doesn't just have to be ribbons and trims. You can also use material that you might have as a little side tucker pocket. Okay, and then my number 6 was to add charms to the trim. And we looked at that, and I'm sure I have others in here. Okay, number 7 is use vellum for pockets. So what's nice about vellum is you could see through it. And so with this bunny, you could see through where the bunny is, and then I attached a little pom-pom for his tail. And these I have out on my Ko-Fi, and I believe 3 different colors. So you could find those bunnies out there. Number 8 is think interactive. Make fences, use different things for pockets, and I'll show you a few of those that I've done in here. So I used a fence for this pocket and to put bunny blue in there. Use negative space here, but let me go to, bear with me, I'm just finding the spots where I have done some interactive things. Okay, so this is a basket, and I have this also out on my Ko-Fi. And so when you print it, you could just trim this either with scissors. There's scalloped edges, but I took the scalloped edges off in the side and just made it easier for me to fussy cut and get it done. So you could put the Easter eggs in there, how many ever you want. And then over here, which this will be number 9, is to make pockets out of wax paper. And then you could decoupage napkins on them. So this is part of the printable too. So you could place that there. You can move them around anywhere you want them. Okay, so this was number 9, wax paper bags. Wax paper bag. And then we're going to continue on with my other interactive items. This is a out on my Ko-Fi, and this may be a freebie. I can't remember, but it's out there, and I thought he's great as a tuck spot. So let me find. And I don't know if maybe going through it page by page was an easier way to do it. But anyhow, we're back to another interactive, which I have this out of my Ko-Fi too. It's just a flower pot. And say you didn't want to get the printable, just look through some books or maybe even a coloring book. And you can get a pot, I'm sure, out of there and fussy cut some flowers. So over here, I have more flowers where you could switch them out and put those in there too. So I love using interactive elements. And here's another pocket with this bunny there. It's another interactive item. Okay. Okay, so number 10 is to use stationery in different ways. So they could be your pages. And so there's stationery used there. And then I had some bunny stationery. And say vintage old paper, retro, I guess you would say. While you were out, cards or pages are great too to use in here. Number 11 is treat or party bags. So you could cut the end off, and it could be a pocket at each side. And then I'll show you what you can do with the bottom of the bag, which is a good idea. So we'll get to that. The little treat bags, and that one happened to look like an Easter bag. Number 12 is use music. Music as your pages. Number 13 is to use ideal pages from the Ideals magazines. You could get vintage ones, or they actually still sell them. There's new ones. And here's the other side of that bag. And I just put little, these are KB and Friends little note cards in there, journaling cards. And say you have a blank page and you just want to add a little decoration. I just fussy cut this little bunny and put him up at the top of that page. Number 14 is fussy cut items and add them to your page. And you could even use stickers, which I believe I use a sticker somewhere else in here. Okay, so then number 15 is use the bottom of your bag that you cut off, use it as a little pocket, little envelope, and fill it with little items in your journal. So they could be little die cuts and little dies in there and just different little things. Okay, this is number 16, to make little tuck spots with anything that's eye-catching. And I tried to correlate this. I've used these boots and other journals and put like little girls that were wearing rubber boots. But I thought this was a cute little thing. It says the rains of spring, and it had boots and tulips there. So that's number 16. Just add little things to different tuck spots and try to correlate them. Okay, number 17 is to turn retro cards or vintage cards into little notebooks. Take it off its little page. And so what I did is I just have the front of this vintage card and I poked 2 holes through it and then just added random notebook paper, Easter colors, you know. And I put the ribbon through one side and then out the other, and it just held it together. Really cute like that. And I mentioned earlier to use music, and so this is one of my printables, and it will be out on my Ko-Fi, and it says because it's spring, and I added little petals. They were actually rose petals. Okay, 18 is vintage hankies. And this is a printable of mine, and I had scanned a vintage hanky, and it had scalloped edges, and I went ahead and used my scallop scissors and fussy cut that. So you can find that out on my Ko-Fi. And if you didn't want to buy my printable, just if you have any hankies, scan them and use them. Or you could use the actual material use the actual hanky in here too, instead of making it paper. This is a vintage card. That's one of my printables. And it just comes on the sheet like this. And then you fold it like the way they used to back in the day. And it's a cute little card to put in your Easter journal. So again, that's where I used vintage cards. I love paper doilies. So paper doilies is number 19. Number 19 is be creative with your pockets. Like this is a laser cut, and I turned that into a pocket. It was a full sheet, but I thought, oh, I would just turn it into a pocket that way and use that. Number 20 is to turn book pages into journaling cards. So this is a Dick and Jane page, and these little girls are picking flowers to make Easter bonnets. So then the back, I just stitched some paper on there, so that's a journaling card. And there's another journaling card like that here, where they actually made their hats, and on the back is the some more paper for journaling. Okay, 21 is to make creative tags. This is from my printables last year, and they are on Ko-Fi, and it's a collection envelope that I turned into a little tag, and I happened to find ribbon that matched the leaves on the tulips. And here's another tag that's not completed, but I did something similar with that, and I still have to add a ribbon. And my other real exciting thing is this next thing. Oh my gosh, I thought it was clever. Let me know what you think. So this center page, they're going to church on Easter Sunday, and here's a collection envelope that's out on my printables again. And I'm sorry I keep saying that, I'm just telling you. So what I did was I turned it into an envelope, because it's a collection envelope, and I attached the envelope to it. Okay, I thought this was a clever idea. You're not going to believe what I put inside this envelope. I put in Monopoly money. How fun is that? Yeah, I was tickled at that idea. 22 is make the envelopes. So that's what was done there. And this is a retro card, and that will be out on my printables. And I just added a flower and made it look a little 3D. And I have another one like that I did that later on in here. There's the other side of that doily. The other side of the hanky. This is an iron transfer. Oops, and you can't see it. I'm not all the way in the camera. So it has a bunny and a bear on it. And I just used that as a page in here. So that will be 23 use iron transfers and patterns. Okay, 24 is make square quilt pockets. And so what this is I tried to represent a lot of the items that I used in here. And I cut squares and attached it to index card, like used a glue stick to attach it, and then took it through my sewing machine and stitched it as if it's a quilt and turned that into pockets. So that is number 24. Okay, number 25 is use packaging to make pockets or tuck spots. So this mom and daughter are coloring Easter eggs. So I used a retro packaging kit for food coloring and Easter egg dyeing. And then I added some eggs to that. And then these two journaling cards are from KB and Friends. So it says Easter egg coloring kit. And that says the same thing. My cousin did one time and used that, but she also used like the little metal thing that holds the eggs that you dip it with the eggs. She used that and had that sticking out. I thought that was clever. Okay, so that's 25. Use packaging to make pockets or tuck spots. 26 is to use recipe book pages. And this is a really retro page, and I think it says Easter egg cake. So that's number 26. Number 27 is to use like your junk mail that you get that has an envelope in it. You can emboss around it like a frame. And you could put whatever image you want to have in there. I haven't stitched this back. I'm just going to leave it open for the new owner. She might want to put a picture of her and her family or a grandchild or something in there. So that's another way to use your mail. Okay, this little Easter bunny is just a tuck spot. And I mentioned that earlier. This is, I have number 27 as use vellum as pages. So this is my printable, but I printed it on vellum. It looks cool up against the yellow too. So it's a hanky printable that I printed out on vellum, and that turns into a page. Okay, number 28 is be creative and rub ribbon through pages that have holes. So I used to not want to use old printer paper because it had holes in it and I didn't like how that looked. Well, I ended up loving it here in this circumstance because I just ran ribbon through. And then it happened to match my bunny blue, and he has paper on the back, and he's a journaling card. And the colors went really well. So don't shy away from paper that's got holes in it. Use those holes to run something creative through them. And so this was a whole page that I just folded, stitched it up, and sewed these down into pockets. Okay, number 29 is to turn patterns into pockets. So this is a pattern and it has a pocket on each side. And I think what I'm going to do, well, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. This is going to be in the 30s. Okay, so 29, turn your patterns into pockets. 30 is, there's the other side of that vellum. This is a retro card. 30 is use negative space. I think these are just book pages. Yep. So 30 is to use negative space creatively. And so this is a bunny, and I believe this originally was a card. And so I put a tag into there, and then it has a journaling spot on the back, and it just slides in and out and changes from small polka dots to bigger polka dots. So that's 30. I think we're gonna go over 30. I think we're going over 30. Or maybe I don't need to number anymore and just go through. This is like a little golden book flash card. Go fish. So number 31 could be use game pieces and flashcards, and I would say even playing cards. So that's 31. Okay. Let me get back here and no, there we go. And here we're using the holes in the negative space there, and put ribbon on that. Say you have 2 pages and you didn't want to print on the front and the back. All you got to do is take those 2 pages together, glue here, glue there, and use it as a little pocket. And so this is some cute little stationery paper, or note paper. Okay, did we have a 31? I've lost track what number we're on. Okay, we're just gonna say this is 31. So to use like a little, this is a ladybug, and he's like a little patch. So use your little decal patches. I can't think of the exact name of this. I'll put it up on the screen and it'll be there. I'll think about it as soon as I'm done filming this, I'm sure. So that's 31. 32 is to use postallettes. You remember back in the day? I used to love these. You just put the stamp in, you write your letter, fold it, and they had like a little decal that you could put on there too. Okay, so this is another retro card that I stitched around, turned it into a journaling card, and then added this little daisy to make it 3D. I love her. She'll be out there too. My Ko-Fi. Oh, we gotta have a 33 to make a shaker card out of a bingo card. So what I did to do this is I just used packaging. Say we get packaging, anything like our Tim Holtz might come in packaging like this. I just saved my packaging and I placed the bingo card in there and then stitched around. Don't even have to stitch around the bottom because the bottom's already closed. So I stitched around each side, then filled it with my sequins, and I happened to have a little bingo number that said 062, and that number was on here. So I love making shaker cards with bingo cards. That's fun. And I believe the original image that I used there is from KB and Friends. And I mentioned earlier putting stickers on the page, just so it's not a blank page. That's a sticker, little bunny sticker. And this is typewriter paper, retro typewriter paper, blue of all colors. And I think I mentioned using like wax bags earlier. And so that's a pocket. And that little girl's in there. So it's a little journaling card, and she's picking flowers. So that's one that's been used already. We already did that. And this is game pieces. That's a card, and she's holding a daisy. This is KB and Friends, or Easter egg hunting. And here is a retro card that has not been used. And that's just in that pocket. So I think our last number was 33. Okay, so this is a card, and this is from my last year printables too. So it's just a card that really would open like this, but I turned it like this because she's a portrait and not landscape. And I thought just by putting the back of the card there and having it hang over the pocket, that would work good that way. Okay, and then I have 34 and 35 for you. So this is number 34, and it's I used plaster paste, and I put a stencil over this guest check, and this will go in here. And I put the plaster paste on with like a knife and went over that, and that's how it ends up. It's like a little 3D look here. And I did that with a bunny too, but I think I need to add his little eye. He's missing a little eye over there, so I need to add that. And then I embossed an envelope. Don't you love the look of that? Oh, but see, that's lifting a little bit, but that's okay. I could even do some age tape and put that there. But I love the look of that. So I hope this gave you some ideas, and you're working on Easter journals along with me. And if there's anything that you want to know in detail how I did, like for example with this paste, if there's anything you want to know how I did in detail, I could do a video of that. Just leave me a message in the comments below. So I will have a full flip through of this in a couple days. I haven't added my tassel yet, which I was going to do those bells. That's the only thing really that I have to do with this journal, is add the tassel. And just a couple other things, just making sure all my pockets are full. So I'll do a final flip through in a couple days, but I hope you're I hope I inspired you in some way, because I'm inspired by so many people, and I hope this is helpful for you. All right, have a great day.